At Easter, we remember that the cross becomes a throne. There is this deep level of irony where, as people surround Jesus and mock him, their words actually speak truth. After Pilate has gone through this questioning of Jesus and his persecutors, today's reading brings us to chapter 19, verses 1 to 16, and it begins with a savage beating of Jesus. They ram thorns into his head, they cover him in a purple robe, they mock his claims, they punch him and beat him savagely. Pilate does this to try and spare Jesus. In his own twisted way, he brings Jesus out and he says, "Here is the man." He's testing Jesus in one level of, is this man really something? But also he's pushing at Jesus' accusers. Are you really scared of this battered and broken person in front of you? But actually, when Pilate proclaims, "Here is the man," he is saying, here is the Word made flesh. Here is the Son of Man who will take away the sins of the world. They respond, dropping all their pretense at political accusations and things that would try and rile Pilate up. They bring their real accusation to Pilate. This man claimed to be the Son of God. This fills Pilate's heart with fear. But he understands on one level what the accusers are saying. Son of God was a title for David and for kings in the history of Israel. But Pilate doesn't respond to the political reality there. He responds to the claim of blasphemy. That Jesus, by calling himself the Son of God, isn't saying, I am a substitute, I am one who has the authority of God. He's saying, I am of the same substance as my Father. The question that Pilate asks in 18, what have you done, becomes in chapter 19, where have you come from? Jesus is silent. A conversation begins. Where does Pilate's authority come from? It's delegated on one level. Jesus knows, Pilate knows, that he is someone who enjoys wealth and privilege and status by being essentially a glorified middle manager. His authority comes from Caesar. He has to juggle not just Judea, but other regions with their strange customs and political pressures. But Jesus is saying, actually, even in this situation, even in your attempts to navigate through this, my Father is in control. There's this interesting dynamic in the text where Pilate brings Jesus to the judgment seat, and then it says he sat down. And actually the original language is quite ambiguous. Does Pilate sit down to judge Jesus? Or is Jesus this battered and broken man wearing a crown of thorns and in a purple robe? Is he sat down before Pilate? After proclaiming, here is the man, Pilate leads him out again and says, here is your king. Again, it is mocking. This is the only power that you Judeans can have. Yet again, there is a truth to what Pilate is saying that he ironically doesn't recognize. Here is the king. Here is the Messiah, the King of Israel, the culmination of all God's history and all that he's been doing in his people as he brings about his hope and his salvation and he transforms the world through his love. The authorities who are accusing Jesus respond, "We have no king but Caesar." Again, there are levels of irony. There's a sense of political irony. See, this encounter happens in the 30s, and within a lifetime, in AD 70, there is a rebellion against Caesar and against Rome, and Jerusalem and the temple is destroyed. It's a bloody, long siege that causes massive loss of life and destruction of the temple. And Pilate knows that they're lying at this point. They know that they're lying at this point. They all know this is about political expediency. But the readers of this gospel, as this gospel was written probably after the destruction of the temple, know that this is a lie on their lips. But there is also an irony that as they claim Jesus is being blasphemous to claim he is the Son of God, for them to claim that the only king they have is Caesar, now that is true blasphemy, because God is their king. And at this moment, when Jesus is judged and his fate is sealed, they also seal their fate. At this point where God's love and character is revealed, they also reveal the brokenness and the darkness in their hearts. As we read this story today, Maundy Thursday, as we prepare for Good Friday, I just encourage you just to read through these stories slowly today and to allow the depths of the pain of the false accusations and the truth of how these accusations actually point to who Jesus is in a truer way than those involved could have ever understood. Allow something of that to rest within you today.